This is Frank Islam, Chairman and CEO of FY Investment Group, and your host of Washington Current Review, where we interview leading voices from business and politics that impact you, the viewer. Today, our guest is Dr. Natwar Gandhi. Dr. Gandhi is a great and wonderful man, and we all take a lot of inspirations and guidance from him. He's the Chief Financial Officer of District of Columbia. Dr. Gandhi, welcome to our show. Thank you very much for coming. And congratulations for this wonderful award that you have received. I'd like to show to this audience from India abroad. They have recognized us and awarded your talent and your service. So I wanted to share this with this audience about this award and talk a little bit about that in a minute or so. But I wanted to ask you your humble beginning, just like mine is. Through hard work, aiming high, you have achieved American dream. You embody the American dream. Tell us about your journey, your story, and the most of all, your destiny.
Thank you very much, Islam, and Mr. Islam, and thank you for inviting me in this program. My story is quite a typical American immigrant story. Immigrants come to this country to make their life, remake their lives, and try to realize their American dream. I was lucky to have been able to come from, as you pointed out, quite modest beginnings in India. Came as a student like millions like me.
Millions who crossed the Atlantic Ocean to come to America.
That's exactly right. And I graduated myself with a degree, and then was offered numerous opportunities to work here. Most important of that was, of course, be in Washington, and luckily I was able to perform as well as I thought I should. The American companies, government organizations, communities given me this opportunity, and that's where I am today.
Great. And when you took over as a Chief Financial Officer of District of Columbia, it was an dire situation, the District of Columbia. Now you're turned around as a CFO. So I have two questions. Number one is, how were you able to accomplish such a difficult mission? And number two, what advice would you give the city of Detroit, who just went bankrupt?
That is true, sadly. But let's talk about the district first. You are right, that district was very near insolvency in mid-90s. We had roughly $500 million deficit in our fund balance. Our bonds were rated junk bonds, and city practically ran out of cash, much in the same manner that Detroit has now. So at that time, the Congress established what is known as the control board, or basically a receivership for the city, and took over all the financial controls from the mayor and the elected council. Concentrated all the financial power within an independent office of Chief Financial Officer. The CFO works for the city, nevertheless is not responsible, accountable to mayor or the elected council, and reports basically to Congress, and also to other elected leadership. But at the end of the day, he's independent. Independent of the mayor, independent of the council. Mayor appoints a CFO, but cannot fire the CFO without a cause. Now, how were we able to manage this financial revival or renaissance, if you want to call that? I think at the end of the day, what really mattered was to repair our revenue situation. Taxes were not being collected. So first thing was to make sure that we receive all the taxes that are due cities, and also make sure that all our obligations are met, but at the same time assuring that we do not spend anything more than what we take in.
Sure.
And that is the fundamental function of the CFO.
That's the philosophy they have always guided you.
Exactly right. And it is as simple as they come, that you want to make sure that your debits and credit are always in correspondence with each other. Now, I think by having the CFO an independent authority to estimate revenues, making sure that the budgets are not in excess of the estimated revenue, and assuring the mayor, the council, and the Congress that we will always have a balanced budget, really restore the city's credibility. I must say that we have had elected leadership here in our excellent mayors, Mayor Williams, Mayor Fenty, now Mr. Gray as the mayor. We have had very good leadership that understood the need and the necessity, indeed inevitability, of financial credibility that we were able to achieve together.
Very nice. Well, let me turn the table and talk about the U.S.-India relationship in terms of the economic policy that both countries can drive benefits, and it's reciprocal. The bilateral trade agreement is a lot better than it used to be. There's a lot more investment from Indian companies in this country, and also other way around. So tell us, shed some light on this economic policy, which is very important for U.S.-India relationship.
Right. I think we are at a crossroad in Indo-American relationship. We have made big strides from where we were in 50s and 60s, and even to some extent in 70s. But with the liberalization in India, American companies, American government, American citizens have been able to play a much larger role in the revival of the Indian-American trade. So in terms of specific policies, I think the liberalization, the globalization of Indian economy is a key point which needs to be pursued with vigor in India. That would mean that we open our doors more than what we have already to not only to the American companies, American organizations, but also the worldwide. And that would be a better way to resolve our issues of basically, making sure that the fruits of the economic prosperity are spread throughout the hundreds of millions of Indians. On the American side, I would strongly urge the American Congress, of course, the President, and institutions at large is to be more receptive of India because of its democratic values, that it takes longer in India to do things than if it were an authoritarian economy like the Chinese economy. But at the end of the day, we do have a country with democratic institutions, with a responsible government, free press, and essentially American in all aspects. So my suggestion would be to collaborate, cooperate on those bases.
Very well said. We have a shared interest and shared values. India is the largest democracy in the world. United States is the second largest democracy. We are still in experimentation phase. You were able to realize an American dream by aiming hard, by working hard, and achieving their dream. You are an example, a living example of American dream. What advice would you give it to the recent immigrant or the immigrant who has crossed the Atlantic Ocean to come to this nation to pursue their dream? What advice would you give it to them?
Yeah. My basic advice to immigrants coming to this country is that essentially they have all the ingredients that are needed to succeed in America. They exhibited that by simply coming here under overwhelming odds, and people go through enormous amount of odds to come to America, particularly those who either come through legal means as well as those who have come here illegally. But at the end of the day, they have shown their initiative, their determination, their strong desire to be in America. That's one. Second, this country offers opportunities to all, those who want to work, those who have skills. The country is open as it can be. I would say that immigrant with a skill, this country is heaven. Indian immigrants in particular came here with great amount of skills, entrepreneurial zeal, and American society, its government, its institutions, its corporations have been very generous in opening their doors, opening their hearts, and making sure that they take advantage of the immigrant skills and entrepreneurship.
No question about that. And if I have to ask you a question, what is the secret of your success? What's the secret sauce here?
Well, I would say if there is any secret, it's one, the determination to take advantage of being in America, opportunities that it affords to all without any particular attention to their color, their creed, or anything else that is unique to them in terms of their external attributes. What matters is the skills, intrinsic virtues they bring to America with them.
Very well said. As I understand, you're retiring.
Yes.
So the question is, what lies ahead of you?
That is a challenge. I have been working all my life for the last 40 plus years, and I think it's about time to think in terms of retirement. And I am, as you know, Frank, a published poet. I want to devote my activities, remaining time toward literature.
Wow.
And continue.
That's your passion.
Yes, that is a passion. But in addition, I also want to contribute to a larger American society through working in not-for-profit NGOs, organizations who can use the financial skills that I have.
At the beginning of the show, we talked about this India Abroad Lifetime Achievement Award. Tell us a little bit about it.
Yeah.
What did that mean to you personally?
Well, as you know, India Abroad every year gives to one person this Lifetime Achievement Award, and I was extraordinarily lucky to have been selected this award. It is indeed flattering to have been able to receive this award. What it means is basically a recognition of hard work that I have put forward all my life in America. But at the end of the day, it is also a recognition of America as a society in which Indians are a contributing community. And this is a recognition of the contribution that I have made to this country and to this community at large.
Very well said. So in America, you have given an opportunity, you were able to pursue your dream, and you admire and appreciate America's inclusiveness and openness. And those are the strength and the values and the vision that you embrace. And that's what you said, as I understand in your speech, America is still a promised land.
It is indeed.
John Winthrop said in 1632 on the ship Arabella that America is a city on a hill. We must always consider all the eyes are upon you.
Indeed.
All the eyes are upon you when you retire, and you have a lot to give to our nation, to our community, and you will continue to give, share, and to whom much is given, much is expected. And thank you for coming here, and thank you for your time, and thank you for your generosity, and congratulations for this wonderful, wonderful award.
Thank you, and thank you very much for this opportunity to talk with you and your viewers.
Thank you for watching. This is Frank Islam wishing you a great week.